I am live here with Power Slap competitor Chris Debow, who unfortunately was not able to make it to his fight on Power Slap Season 2 Road to the Title. And I wanted him to, talk about that little situation here. But first off, thank you so much for coming on the show with us here tonight. And to kick things off, how's it going?
It's going good, man.
So let's cut to the chase, right? Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. I want to know the situation here with your whole weight cut leading up to your welterweight fight there. Let us know straight from the horse's mouth what happened and how are you feeling now too as well.
Dude, now I'm feeling great. It boils down to experience. I've only ever cut weight for this sport, so about 5 times this year, and I felt great up until the point I didn't. It was about like an hour before weigh-ins that I started to feel bad, and hospital checked me out afterwards because I was having chest pains and shit, and they took me over there, and I low sodium and low magnesium, and that low sodium whooped my ass.
Damn. All right, so it was a bit concerning, looking at it from from an outsider's perspective, right? And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on this little tidbit that we've been seeing kind of floating around Twitter.
Man,
Just yeah. So it's been getting out there. That's why I really wanted to get you on to like get your take on the situation, right? So for the people that are trying to read this and can't really read it, it says it is ironic that weight cutting, while it gives you a strength advantage in MMA, being the bigger fighter on fight night, its a drawback is a worse chin. You have zero defensive capabilities in slap fighting, only your chin. This sport is so fucking stupid. So, how is your take on all the backlash that you've been receiving, as well as the sport has been receiving for this, situation that happened?
man, people are gonna hate. People like to this day, people understand what it takes to cut weight in the UFC, and then some stuff happens with like Paddy Pimblett, and they're all over his ass. They can't let people make mistakes. Like as soon as he does a bad job of something, then it's the entire industry's fault, and it's stupid. No one should be doing it.
Right. And
Um,
that's essentially where UFC's began, right? They
yeah,
began as this barbaric cage fighting, as people would call it,
yeah. I
fighting in a
believe
different manner.
UFC's been multiple times called just like glorified cockfighting, but like it's so much more than that.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why I wanted you to come on here to like,
Oh yeah.
break the ice and let people know, it's a brand new sport,
So
right? And things like
so
that.
yeah, I may have made the mistake of not hydrating and eating properly, but like I said, that was my mistake alone, and it was just chalked up to inexperience. Because prior to March, I had never cut weight before,
Okay.
and to compete competitively, that is something you're going to need to do. And people say that it cuts a lot of your durability off, but that could be true if done wrong. Like if in the instance of me doing what I did, if I was allowed to compete, I for sure wouldn't have been at 100%. But the brain's the first organ to get dehydrated and the last one to get rehydrated. So if you do it right, then you're not dropping a lot of durability. And as far as not having defense and power slap, man, I guess a lot of people just ain't got balls, man. How much defense do you have in a UFC ring when the other dude is whooping your ass and carrying and like just ragdolling you around the fucking cage? Like you can only do so much when he has you pinned down and he's on top of you, just smothering you and beating the shit out of you. In this, we get to take turns. He's only getting one hit. We get hit
Sure.
less. We get hit less than people do during football practice, and we're idiots.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just boils down to people think that while you're not protecting yourself, because you're
No,
taking just a full on slap, right? You're not able
there's
to move or anything, but you kind of condition yourself to it over
yeah,
time, right?
there's levels of defense. I mean, you can see when people like even with myself, like my second match with Manny, I stood there and I was cocky and I didn't flex and I didn't bite down. Like I think all I did was bite down with my mouth guard. I didn't flex my legs, I didn't flex my abs, get my shoulders set or nothing, and I got put on my ass because, whiplash, if your brain touches your skull, you're going to get rocked. But
Right.
if you sit there and you grin and bear it and you eat the shot like you're standing in front of a fucking pitching machine and you know the ball's coming, so you just stand there and take it, then you do cut a lot of impact off of it. You're not sitting there letting someone hit you. You're muscling through it. And there's a big difference if you're able to muscle through it as opposed to people who just stick their chin out there and go to sleep.
Right. See, the sport's growing on me, right? And I'm kind of was in the notion just like everybody else, right? And outside looking in and thinking this is just straight up dumb, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm coming from combat sports where boxing, kickboxing, and and things of that nature. I never thought of just letting someone punch me in the face or slap me in the face and try to battle through it. But as the time went on, I've seen it's starting to grow. The popularity is growing. You guys are, you guys are tough. You guys got some chins, and it is kind of exciting when you get into like an actual slap competition. You know what I mean? When you guys are going back and forth, hit for hit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Trade shows. Like you don't get. I don't think you get any more fair than this. Like even in the UFC, they have a lot of stipulations on things like the angle of the elbow. It can't be allowed, or like you can't do certain things. Like, but in this, it's as long as you hit just in this one spot, you're taking turns. That's all it is. It's just one for one. I get one, you get one. It's like a modern day shootout. I don't see how it gets any better.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
mean, it is
get a
exciting.
free one. I know I get a free
Exactly.
one.
Yeah, as long as you're able to take that first shot and then be able to dish it back, like you said, it's fair. It's 50-50 at that point.
Yeah. 50-50
So
and just seeing how bad of a motherfucker you are, man.
yeah, man. I mean, like I said, sometimes it's brutal to watch. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's sometimes brutal, but I mean,
And if you ever get once they start opening up the live events more, seeing it live is a completely different experience. Like it's like watching golf, where in the sense of in UFC people are screaming the entire fight, and during a golf match there's complete silence on the pitch up until the point of contact with the ball, and then and the same with power slap. Like people are talking, yammering and whatnot during the wind up, complete silence. They wait until that fucking crack resounds through the fucking arena from him getting the shit slapped out of him, and then they lose their shit. But everybody wants to hear it, so it's just a different energy.
yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to being able to attend one of these events, one day when they're able to open it up. Because I was at, the Apex for a Contender Series fight, and like you said, it's the same. It's just everybody's dead silent. You can hear a needle drop. I heard one of the fighters' wives was literally coaching him in the stands, and we heard verbatim everything she was telling him what to do, and she was getting pissed off at him from majority of the time because he was losing the fight, but I can understand how that atmosphere is probably insane when you get those knockouts, those emphatic knockouts that we see all over social media.
Dude, yeah, people lose their minds. It's a crazy feeling, and just the fact of like, even though people don't want to give this sport legitimacy and call us athletes, it's like we're still training, we still cut weight, we still can't take PEDs, we're getting drug tested left and right. We get access to the PI in the Apex. We get to brush shoulders with some of the most inspirational fighters of this generation. We get knowledge given to us by UFC fighters. I don't know how many times I've been at the PI and Forrest Griffin just comes in and gives me advice on how to cut weight, how to train, how to get more rotational power. And being able to talk to fighters, and like I've heard plenty of people say that real fighters don't respect this sport. I've met a couple dozen people who are in the UFC right now who say not only do they respect us, but they think it's cool and they wouldn't do it because they can't let someone stand there and hit them. And I get that, but that's why it's a different sport.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, like I said, it's growing massively. And I wanted to know your backstory, right? So how did you even get into Power Slap, and do you have combat sports like
Um,
background?
not, not any. official like competition combat sports. Like I just grew up in the country, and like I grew up riding bulls and shit, and like walking the woods, fighting with my homies, and always in the shit, always starting fights and getting into trouble and whatnot. So um, just I've always had an interest in combat sports, but being 5'9" and chubby, it's hard to compete without cutting to like 155.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I've been 185, 190 since sixth grade, so that wasn't a feasible thing for me realistically, healthily. And took some jujitsu, took some boxing, and really fell in love with judo. But when I saw some power slap highlights at the beginning of this year, it was like January, February. I signed up immediately. I was like, oh, I could do that. I watched some episodes from the show. I was like, nah, I got these dudes' numbers. Like, if they can do this, I can do this. They're all soft. And I signed up, and it's weird because I'm one of the few people in the sport that isn't coming from a combat sports background, nor do I have someone that I knew in power slap prior that put in a word for me. I was just one of the people in a list of names and faces. They were like, hey, this guy can do it. And I've yet to be fucking knocked out. Like and not
Kudos.
only have I got to prove how tough I am, I've got to like learn more about myself and push myself, because it's like when you're not competing, like I've got plenty of friends who compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments regularly, and when you're not competing, it's like like you let yourself go, and even in the sense of like muscle reaction. Like I've sparred my whole life. It's the best way to work out because I don't like going to the gym. And if it wasn't for all those sparring matches, I'd be one of the people flinching up there. Like I see, like we saw Zach Zane versus Federico. He came off the Contender Series. He's an MMA fighter, but that's counterintuitive for slap. Like we're supposed to stand there. You can't be moving away from the shot.
That's
And then with
true.
all the like with tonight with Slambo versus Sean, um, boxers, man, they pivot. It's bred into their fucking muscle memory that you lift that foot and turn your heel whenever you throw a shot. So it's hard to it's a lot of it's counterintuitive for what we're doing. So the fact that I do have less of a combat sports background, I think means I'm able to absorb more of what this sport actually consists of.
Right, because you basically come in like learning from the ground up, where all these other guys are bringing their expertise from a completely different
Yeah,
sport into a brand new sport that
you can't
no one's really ever
you can't
done.
you can't fill a cup that's already full.
Right, that's true. That's true. And a lot of people want to talk about this sport. Like you said, has no legitimacy, right? And it should not be out in the open like it is. But
Man,
people don't see the hard work. They don't see the hard work. I was wondering, like, what can you tell us the hard work that you've been putting in for such a sport that people don't are saying that they're not legitimizing?
if people don't want to look at me for an example because I'm a chubby normal guy, that's great. Fuck them. But look at some of the other guys like Austin Turpin. When he started back in March, same as time I did, and I haven't gone through as much of a body transformation because I don't have as much to work with. But like I went from being on the couch back in March, being a chubby 185, like out of it, and now I'm getting in shape better and better every day. Like you can't see it right now, but like I'm fucking low key getting jacked. It's awesome. By the time February rolls around, it's gonna be almost a year in this sport and a year of going to the gym regularly when I had no other reason or inspiration to otherwise. And yeah, man, I've bought equipment. I'm out there hitting my bag every day. I'm going to the gym 3, 4 times a week. I'm eating better and just developing an actual training routine and committing to something. It'll change your life, even if you're not in a sport.
That's true. I have some questions here. I got my man Jesse's asking how old are you?
I just turned 28.
Damn,
So
you look young. You look a
yeah,
lot younger than 28.
I was a 95 baby, but like I've been told that I look like a lot of these guys on Power Slap that are like 24.
Yeah, you do. So I was like, kind of odd that you said 28. Well, Anthony Blackburn saying, "Yo, what's
Burn!
up?"
Man, that guy, fingers crossed that's my next match, bro. I love
Oh,
that guy.
really?
Yeah. He's one of the only ones that I see make sense, bro.
That could be interesting. I also want to know about the house and that whole experience, right? I know you didn't get to stay the entire way, but how was the whole time, the whole experience in the house and the filming and things like that? Because I know it's different for a lot of people.
It was surreal. I had a fantastic time. Probably was having too much fun as opposed to like focusing on what I needed to, because they told me I had low salt and low magnesium. So I assume that means on top of not drinking enough water, I didn't eat what I was supposed to. Like normally before a match, I leave my house and I spend a week or two at a friend's closer to the airport and just get myself out of my comfort zone so I can get my weight under control and get my mindset right before going to Vegas. And this time I just went straight to Vegas and I was chopping it up with all the boys and just kicking it in the house, which was amazing. Eating like whatever we wanted because the fridge was fully stocked in the pantry. Like I was not paying attention. I was just focused on having a good time.
See, that's the hard part, right? You want to have fun and live in the moment. The amazing moment. You're talking about like you said, surreal. It's
Oh yeah.
you never thought this would happen, and then here you
No.
are, and now
And
you
then
kind of have to take it serious.
oh yeah. And then like I'm glad they didn't show as much of it as what had happened, but dude, I was crying when I had to leave that house because if like no one fucked me over but me. It's not like I went out there and got knocked out or I went out there and lost a decision. I just fucking beat myself. It was super different thing to go through, man. I was like I was disappointed beyond explanation because it's not what I went there for.
Of course,
But
you never want to have to leave early, especially not on your own free will. You know what I mean? You
I
just unfortunately what happened.
yeah, without giving anything away, from watching that episode, things that I can speak on is in the list of people who went home that Dana named off, I wasn't on that list.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm not gonna say anything more, but like when he named off everyone going home from round one, I wasn't one of them.
Uh-huh. Got me thinking. All right. I thought this show's definitely been intriguing to me because I've always been. That's what got me into watching UFC was the Ultimate Fighter 1.
Dude,
So
yeah, I
I,
love the Ultimate Fighter.
so it's been forever. And I've been religiously watched every single season of Ultimate Fighter, and that's what got me started and hooked on MMA to begin with.
How did
And
you like? How'd you like Chandler versus McGregor?
I mean, it was good.
I
I
I
mean,
want I. It was almost a clean sweep.
yeah. But then Conor McGregor is like the worst coach there is. I honestly, he's the worst, but at least on video, right? What they're trying to
Yeah, from what
portray
it
him as,
seems, man. Like
right?
like in a similar way, it's like if you watch these past 7 episodes, I was starting like I wasn't on his team, so I don't know, but it seemed like KO Chris wasn't doing a great job coaching during the matches either. Because people
Yeah,
asked
that's
me,
true.
this is nothing against him because I kind of like him as a guy and he's never done me wrong. It's just like as a learning aspect with all these new guys, from what I can see up on the stage, he like specifically with the Jonathan Boone match versus Danny Van Eerden, Jonathan would get cracked, walk back there visibly stunned, and Chris would wipe his face off and say, "You got to bite down, get your feet, get back out there and do the damn thing." I looked at the clock. There's 45 seconds left. He should have recovered. At no point did he tell him, "Hey, take your time, deep rest. You got this much time left." Like, be a coach.
Yeah.
Like he kind of set that dude up for failure.
I guess maybe he went in with the fighter mindset, right? Yeah, he's in there.
Exactly.
He just knows what he knows in terms of fighting, but
Exactly.
really
That's when
didn't
they
calm
asked me
himself down.
when they asked me which team I'd rather be on. I chose Manny because Manny's been through some decisions, and like with me, I know how he beat me. I know he hit me harder, and I was able to tough it out, even though he stepped, which he didn't do on purpose. Chris can like anyone can talk shit and say, "Oh, you stepped, you fouled." Everyone throws a couple fouls. We're learning, but Manny's been through some wars. He can teach you how to get a decision victory and how to tough out multiple rounds. Chris knocked out everybody. He's never had to go multiple rounds. He's only ever had to been hit once or twice. So he can't teach you how to absorb a shot, and nor can he teach you how to go 3 rounds because it's all theoretical. He's never had to do it himself. all he can do is tell you go knock him out in one, and if you can't replicate that, everything else is theoretical.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the episode, you really don't see too much of corner work on his part, but I mean, like we
Yeah,
said,
I can't wait till we see some. I hope they drop the full fights because these seem like they took out some shit talking like in between probably.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought this episode was actually going to be an hour long, but then I realized it was over just in 30 minutes.
It's
And
always 30 minutes, man.
yeah, I don't know
They
why.
they,
I keep thinking it's like an hour long, so I'm like, oh, I thought
they
this was
segue
on
it.
till 10.
They segue it really well. They don't say find out next time on Dragon Ball Z to the last fucking second.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was going to go a lot longer, and I was surprised, but I mean, it's still intriguing. It really is, man. I mean, I feel like people need to like just kind of need to relax and just take in what this is, right? I mean, it's a totally different sport. We can't go in thinking it's not. It's not, it's not MMA. It's not kickboxing. It's not a sport that we know and have been watching for a long time. So I
every
feel
other
that
combat
people need to
sport
give it a try.
every other combat sport seems like it's derived from another combat sport, so you can compare it and see like, oh, these are the drawbacks, these are the pluses to this sport as opposed to the original one. But with this one, it's not really anything to compare it to. People will say, oh, it's a slap. Who, like, a slap's not even a punch. Like, why would you even do that? Like, I can tell you I've been hit 12 times, none of them felt like a slap. There's no sting. It just, you feel the concussive blow of it. You just feel the impact. You're like, damn, it feels like I just got punched with an open hand.
Yeah, I mean, essentially that's what it is. Especially from the guys that are like in the heavyweight and super heavyweight
Oh, dude,
division.
yeah. No, from everything that, man, just all the competition now. Like, and if people, I think if they, instead of just watching the 15-second clips of us getting knocked out or us doing stupid shit, because we're all like, even UFC fighters, we're all regular people. We get caught up doing dumb shit and goofing off. They actually get down and watch us and learn who we are. We're all our own people. We all got our own stories. We're all doing this for different reasons. And there's probably only two dudes that I don't fuck with. Like, everyone I've met through this sport is like-minded and a real motherfucker. And it's changed my life in a lot of positive ways. So if other people can, I don't know, view it from a different mindset, and maybe they'll fucking grow too. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you guys, you all have different personalities on the show. You know what I mean? And it's just different. You can see the different aspects when you watch the Ultimate Fighter versus Power Slap because you feel like your guys
I
are
felt,
down to earth. You're
yeah, there was more of a
regular guys.
camaraderie. Like, even I say more of a camaraderie. Next episode, you're gonna see the Garretts duke it out. But out of 24, 26 dudes, two people fighting, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the earlier seasons of the Ultimate Fighter, right?
I just
Everybody was
want to
just throwing
bang,
hands.
bro.
Yeah, man. The iconic episodes, but it's just a different aspect, and it's starting to grow on me, and I think it's going to take some time to grow on some other people as well. More in the inner aspects of things that we can't really see as people are watching. How did that weight cut go in the house? How were you trying to cut the weight?
It,
Because like you said, you were given everything, but like, what were you given to help you? Succeed in a weight cut. Did anybody help you? Did they give you stuff to help you?
so we had all the equipment that we could need to cut weight, but it's up to you to do your own job, because that's what weight cutting is. Like, making weight, I only did half my job. I got on the scale and I weighed the correct amount, but I didn't do it healthily, so I only did half my job. But as far as like how to do it, man, like, we have all the resources. Like, we at the house, we have the sauna, the cold plunge, we have sweatsuits, we got Sweet Sweat, like, because there was no branding or anything, but like, we've got anything that we would need. So I'd water loaded, not enough, like how I normally do. Normally I drink a few gallons the few days before, but this I probably drank only like a gallon. And yeah, and by the time, like, I was feeling great up until the point I wasn't. Day of, I was in the morning before the weigh-ins, I think I only had like 2 pounds to go. So I cover myself in sweet sweat, throw in some sweats, and then hop in the sauna, get out of the sauna, hop on the elliptical and whatnot, and get my heart rate up. And then at that last like 30 minutes of cutting weight and then getting that last pound off, my heart rate just never went down. And then I was an hour later, we're weighing in and my chest is still pounding and I'm starting to feel like shit. And I was like, ooh, didn't do a good job. Like, and then about another half hour later after weigh-ins, I was toasted.
Damn, that's
yeah,
crazy.
It was a crazy experience. It was low key fucking humiliating and I disappointed myself, but I learned from it. I'm the type of I'm one of those stubborn assholes. You got to fuck up to learn something real good. Yeah. So it's like my second match, I got put on my ass. Like I'll never let that happen again, but only because it happened.
Right. I mean, yeah, you can't beat yourself up too much because, like you said, you haven't been cutting weight as like a pro for 10 plus years. It's still something fairly new to you. So
it's a learning experience. And right. After talking to everybody there and them saying like it's cool, everyone goes through it and whatnot. The only person who made me feel better was Dana when he was like, "Hey man, shit happens." And I was like, this dude has seen handfuls of fighters miss weight terribly, like by 7 pounds. Like I fucking made weight and hurt myself doing it. That shows some level of commitment. Like at
least you tried, right? You've seen people, seen fighters completely give up. They say, I'm just not cutting weight.
Yeah, no. I sat there and I fucking did the thing. I learned something from it, which is drink more fucking water, you dumbass. Quit playing fucking Connect 4 and pool and shit and go do your job.
Connect 4.
Yeah, we had tons of games in that house, man. We had pool, pickleball, fucking Connect 4, chess, all the shits.
What if you can describe the experience that you had in the house? How would you describe it?
Dude, it was uncomparable to anything else. Like a lot of people viewed it as like, oh, I can't be away from home for 3 weeks. I can't do this. I'm looking at it like, dude, this is the funnest shit. We're in the house that the Ultimate Fighter was just shot in, except now it's decked out for us. This is all for us. We get to do our thing. We get to just be ourselves, and then we get to fucking bust someone in the mouth at the end of it. It's awesome. It's completely surreal. Never in my life did I think on my resume I'd be able to put like reality TV personality. Like what the fuck?
Dude, that is pretty insane. You know, going from just like an average person to now power competitor.
That's another thing people talk shit about this sport. They're like, oh, anybody can slap somebody. I don't even see how this is special. How are they athletes? Anybody can do anything. Everyone and their mama can play basketball. How many people are in the NBA? Anyone can learn how to kickbox. How many people are in the UFC? Like anyone can do anything barring a disability. So how many people can be great at it?
That's true. And I can say firsthand, I would not be great at power slap. No way, no how. Maybe I can give a slap. I ain't taking the slap.
You can cut down to 155, fight Robert Trujillo.
I don't know about that.
I need some fights.
No, I ain't doing it. Nope. This face is it's good for camera. It's not good to get punched or slapped. It's not happening. But what can we expect from you moving forward now that I don't know what's going on in the show, but let's say this chapter's closed on the show, right? Let's say that. What can we expect from you going forward, at least in 2024?
Man, from 2024 forward, all there is to expect is nothing but victories, man. I've taken all the losses and all the fucking defeats from myself that I'll take, all the disappointment. Like, I'm not going to disappoint myself one more time in this sport. And I'm working harder than I've worked for any other fights. And the next person I go against, I don't care who they are, they're going to end up with their ass on that fucking stage. They're going to sit down and they're going to have to look back up at me while I'm smiling.
We got Anthony Blackburn saying, I'm going to hit you, boy.
Oh, dude, he's going to have to. You're going to see this dude. He's gone right on 1 his whole career. You're going to see him go right on 3 because he needs that little extra oomph.
Ooh. Ooh. I like it. So we can expect you to be active in 2024, more than 1 or 2 events?
100%. From what I can tell, I mean, I don't know how much they like me after what happened, but I've yet to be fucking knocked out, man, and I show up every time. I'll never say no to any fight. I'll fight everybody in the division twice because if I think I'm the best, which I know I am, then there's not a person in my weight class that I'm scared of. If you don't think you can knock me out, you might as well go ahead and go home. Don't show up.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate taking some time out here tonight to go over everything, Power Slap, and I look forward to seeing you in 2024.
Thanks for having me on. It was great.